Based on cap spending, NFL teams seem to think the safety position is important. Only quarterbacks, offensive tackles, edge rushers and cornerbacks make more on average. The position, which has always been an intermediate between stronger linebackers and quicker cornerbacks, has grown in importance in recent years as more offenses spread things out, utilize running backs as receivers and blur the lines between run and pass. Safeties have been asked to play a bigger role and have been compensated accordingly. But the well has run dry this offseason, at least for a trio of safeties who, coming into the offseason, were considered among the 5 best free agents at their position. 2 months into the 2018 NFL league year, Eric Reid, Trey Boston and Kenny Vaccaro remain unemployed, while their peers, Morgan Burnett, Tyrann Mathieu, Kurt Coleman and Marcus Gilchrist, were signed within the first week of free agency. Only Burnett and Mathieu were considered better players than Reid, Boston and Vaccaro by most outlets that published free agent rankings. Scott Claus, USA Today, that the 3 remained unsigned is peculiar, to say the least. In 2017, the top 11 safeties available, based on rankings by ESPN.com, NFL.com and Pro Football Focus, were all signed by the 3rd day of free agency. These weren't big names, but they got big money. Tony Jefferson, Jonathan Cyprien, Barry Church and Micah Hyde signed contracts worth up to $114.5 million combined. And less than 2 months later, teams used 9 picks on safeties within the first 2 rounds of the 2017 NFL Draft. 3 safeties were taken in the first round alone. The 2018 NFL Draft was also considered a good safety draft, a fact some used to explain why Reid struggled to garner any interest early in free agency. But only 3 safeties were drafted in the first 2 rounds of the 2018 draft. It wasn't nearly as deep as the last year's draft, which had no effect on the free agent safety market. For whatever reason, this year is different. Really different. At least for Reid, Vaccaro and Boston. The other big free agents at the position found work quickly. Coincidentally, or maybe not, the other big free agents haven't been involved in anthem protests. And if they have, there is no public record of it happening. ESPN.com kept a running log of players who protested during the 2017 season, and none of them show up on it. Google searches of their names plus anthem protest turn up nothing as well. The same cannot be said for Reid, Vaccaro and Boston. Reid kneeled with Colin Kaepernick during the 2016 season and continued to do so in 2017. Vaccaro sat during the anthem early in 2017 and even acknowledged that it may affect his impending free agency. Boston, while with Panthers, tried, and failed, to organize a team protest following the shooting death of Lamont Scott by a Charlotte police officer. He did get a contract after the fact, but it was a 1-year, $900,000 deal, the kind of deal that goes unnoticed by a fan base. Marcus Gilchrist signed with the Raiders after protesting last season. Though his protest was part of Texans players' response to owner Bob McNair's "inmates" comment, nearly all of Houston's roster protested that week. Vaccaro has remained quiet about the lack of interest in his services. Boston hasn't said much but did tell the Charlotte Observer he can't think of any other reason for the lack of interest. And, of course, Reid has come out and said he believes his protests are the only reason he has yet to sign. This week, he filed a grievance against the league with backing of the NFLPA. In early April, Reid met with the Bengals, who are in need of a safety, but left Cincinnati without a contract offer. The team reportedly asked him about how he'll approach the anthem in 2018. It's worth pointing out that this is the same team that drafted Joe Mixon, who punched a woman, breaking several bones in her face, and continues to roster Vontaze Burfict, who has been fined repeatedly for dirty play. Shanna Lockwood, USA Today Sports. Let's not oversell how good Reed, Vaccaro and Boston are, which tends to happen in cases like this. They're all solid players who could thrive in the right role, but none of them are superstars. They all do, however, have the ability to start for good teams. And each possesses a different skill set that any team would find valuable. Reed, 27, is at his best near the line of scrimmage, where he can act as an extra linebacker against the run. In fact, the 49ers asked him to move to linebacker during the 2017 season, and he did so seamlessly. Boston, 25, is a play-making free safety who can protect the deep middle in single high coverages. The former Charger set a career high with 5 interceptions in 2017. Vaccaro, 26, is good against the run and was used as a slot corner in the Saints sub-packages. He wasn't great in coverage last season, but played through a serious groin injury that eventually landed him on IR. He also set a career high for interceptions in 2017 with 3. Kirby Lee, USA Today Sports. There's no way around it. These are good, young players who happen to play a position that the league clearly values. In recent years, players of their ability were snapped up within the first few days of the off-season. It's odd that they're still looking for jobs in May. The one thing we don't know is how much these three are looking for. It's possible that they're asking for inflated salaries, but if that were the reason they remain unsigned, we'd see this sort of situation every off-season. Tuesday was a big day for all unsigned free agents, including these three. Players signed after May 8 will not affect a team's compensatory pick formula, so there is no downside to signing any of them. That should eliminate the last excuse NFL teams have for not signing them.